Well, there's students in 50-plus schools walking out over Ferguson. This is all across the country. Protests are continuing. The Rams, five or six of the Rams players, as the game was starting yesterday, came out with their hands up, don't shoot gesture. And right-wing talk radio is hysterical right now. Hysterical, as is Fox so-called news. Oh, my God. How dare they? This is like yelling fire in a crowded theater. Excuse me. I think it's legal to yell fire in a crowded theater. It's just that if there's a stampede and somebody gets injured, you can be prosecuted for it. I don't recall any problems coming out of 5 or 6 guys coming out with their hands up in the air. Do you? I don't know. Jeff seems to have an opinion about this in Kalkaska, Michigan. Hey, Jeff, what's up?
Hey, Tom. I got to tell you, spending a little time listening to your program makes me proud to have switched from liberal to conservative over the years. It's amazing.
So you'd much rather work for the interests of the billionaires and the transnational corporations in America than for working people.
Oh, the billionaires and the transnationals. You mean the ones who create the wealth that the government steals to squander on things like Solyndra?
Yeah, if you really believe that,
there's no corporate
either you're a rich guy or you're an idiot. Respectfully, let me rephrase that. Either you're a rich guy or you're uninformed.
Respect. I understand that. Tom, did you read any of the grand jury report?
Yes.
And did you see that there were 6 eyewitnesses that backed up Darren Wilson's?
Out of 13, yes.
Yes, out of 13. That's right. And none of the other 7, they were not motivated in any way to. But
you don't know that, Jeff. There was no cross-examination.
Well, that's what you're assuming, though.
No, I'm not assuming. I read the transcript. Did you read the transcript?
I've read excerpts of the transcript.
Okay, well, I would suggest that you read the transcript, because what you will find is, A, witnesses who should have been cross-examined weren't, and B, that witnesses who were taking the defense for Officer Wilson's point were literally led by their hand. In fact, words were put in their mouth, whereas witnesses who were taking the Officer Wilson shot when he didn't need to point of view were challenged, were argued with, were the lawyers were. In fact, they double teamed several of them. Where they play good cop, bad cop with them. I mean, go back and read the transcripts. It's fascinating. This is Jeff. I am not saying that Darren Wilson was right or wrong. Do you get that? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you don't know, and I don't know, and no one will ever know, because this prosecutor denied you and me and the rest of this country an opportunity for the evidence to be put in front of a judge, in front of a jury, to be determined whether it's accurate or not.
But what about the scientific evidence?
What about what are you?
What about the scientific evidence? What about the actual crime scene?
You mean like 10 gunshots in the body of an unarmed teenager?
The fact that Michael Brown, the autopsy paid for by the Brown people, matched up with the crime scene. Liberals always want to say they're for science, right up until the time, you can hear a baby's heartbeat in the womb, or the science doesn't mesh up.
Jeff, give me the science that
DNA. What about Brown's DNA inside the car? What about his thumb flesh inside the car?
It raises some really important questions. The testimony was that the officer reached through the door and grabbed Michael Brown. That would bring his DNA and his hand into the car. There's also testimony that Michael Brown reached through the window and specifically to punch Officer Wilson. We don't
Have you ever tried to grab a 300-pound, 6'5" man and drag him car window, sir? Does that make any sense whatsoever? Any sense whatsoever?
Jeff, okay, you're missing my point entirely. My point is that you and I are never going to litigate this successfully. You've got your Fox News talking points. I've read the transcript. I get it. You're taking the position that Darren Wilson was absolutely right and Michael Brown was absolutely wrong. I get it. My point is, you don't know. And if you're asserting that you don't know,
that's right. That's right. And you guys don't know either, and yet you blow.
I am saying I don't know. I am saying we need to have a trial. That's why you have an adversarial process. That's why there needs to be something independent of a prosecutor whose job depends on the police department that he has been jobbed to look into. We need an independent body looking into it. You can sit around and say all day long, "Oh yeah, Darren Wilson's a wonderful guy." You know, you can join all the cops around the country who are wearing "I am Darren Wilson" T-shirts if you want. It still doesn't mean that you know what happened. You don't. There has been no adversarial judicial process at all. And so we don't know. And that's a problem.